And just be like, if do you have any questions off of that? Don't define main. I play our roles. Okay, 6 to 8 hours of sleep. What do you feel is holding back from improving mentality, aim, and positioning? So have you transitioned to PC or are you still on console playing?
I'm afraid to transition to PC right now.
Makes sense, makes sense. Okay.
Uh, I've never used PC before in my life, so I
Okay.
don't think I'd be horrible, but it's gonna take some time.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Do you have any questions? Let's just put it this way. Do you have any questions about training structure, habits, hero pool, anything like that before we just look at the code?
Nothing I can think of off the top of my head. It might be better to get into the code first,
Works for me.
and then I can probably think of some things.
Sure, sure. Let me get this pulled up here.
Like I said earlier, I think my big issue right now is I'm struggling to try and understand what I can do better on games that I lose. Now, obviously, I know kind of what I did bad here for a little bit. I know I was out of position a few times.
Mm-hmm.
But this game, I feel like I did decently well,
Mm-hmm.
but we lost. And so obviously there's something that I could have done better, maybe.
Sure, sure. I mean, even if there isn't, I guess the idea is to look for habits that will win you more games in the future, help you to perform better as a whole. Because the thing is that like, what happens if like you roll the RNG dice and that you get like 4 of the worst teammates in the history of the universe, or like they have like really, really, really bad games, right? This game might have been unwinnable for almost anybody, but obviously the vast majority of games you're going to be able to win. So it's like finding what those habits are. I think more than anything else. Okay, so what rank is this?
I believe right now my DPS is Masters 1.
Okay.
So this is Masters 1 console.
Okay, and is this Tracer all the way through?
No, it's actually more Hanzo than it is Tracer. I think I
Okay.
swap off Tracer right at the end of the first point.
Okay, so do you want to look at some of the Tracer first, or do you want to start with the Hanzo? You got time?
It doesn't matter to me. We can do whatever. We can start with the Tracer.
Okay, sounds
Because
good.
my hero pool is like pretty much everything but Genji on DPS.
Okay, makes sense.
I like playing everything. I hate having a main because it feels really, really limiting.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Well, I mean, Tracer's going to be a tough one. Like I guess just to pick up casually. So I'm interested to see how you play.
I understand that. And this probably, I think the reason I swapped off first because I just wasn't playing well in the first place.
Makes sense. And this is also a tough Tracer map too. Not a lot of flanks available.
Oh yeah, my accuracy still didn't work here too. I nearly lose this fight to this guy.
Oh, nice. I mean, I think this is okay. Just can you get out? Yes. Okay, good. Yeah, see, here's what I'm thinking. You're down a couple here, right here. You've managed to steal out 2 kills, which is great. But this fight location is going to shift backwards, right? And you can kind of see it right here. So you pushing forward back to retake this space probably isn't smart. Where should you position at this point in time instead?
Honestly, just back there with my Sigma.
Yeah,
or taking high ground and trying to keep them from
right,
getting too heavy into high ground.
Right, 100%. I agree with that. So this is more risk than it's worth.
So I'm gonna be like 100% honest. I didn't even realize that we had lost 2 people here.
Sure.
Because I was in that fight with that Weaver and just was not paying attention.
Sure. So here's what I would do. There's a habit that I like to say that helps build just general awareness of your team, your tank. Whenever you find like downtime like this, unless you have something that immediately demands your attention right now, try to turn around. Just look through walls. If you see this, you'll go, oh, my tank's not pushing. I should be careful about walking forward. Or you'll go, oh, where's the rest of my team? Oh, snap, they're in spawn. I need to actually wait. So even if your team was here, I'm still not convinced that pushing out this far, basically by yourself, is going to be worth it. It's very risky, right?
The worst part about it is I coach teams for console
Right.
stuff, and I tell them that, and I struggle to do it myself.
Right, but knowledge and skill, right? I mean, welcome to my club, right? I mean, the same thing, right? So I'm the world's worst tracer, but you know, I can coach tracer all day long. So this is just one of those circumstances where it's just like really your team's not there, you push out too deep. You just needed to check your team's positioning before you take an engagement. It's a really important habit to build. Okay.
think I do make a push for this way.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
She just, what are they? Do they have a Lori? No. Okay, I can't remember who it was. It was the Weaver.
Yeah, yeah.
He's surprisingly strong this season and has caught me off guard a few times.
Yeah, he does a lot of damage actually, especially this first couple shots. Keep poking from the angle. I mean, this is just one of those circumstances where Tracer's just not going to feel super good, right? Where it's like, if I go over here, this is optimal, but can you get here safely is a question, right? Yeah. And then, you know, this is obviously not the best angle in the world, so it's like making the best of a bad situation. If you can get here safely, that's obviously optimal.
My biggest issue is, I know I said I play everybody, but I'm really weak on hit scan out of everybody that I play. I think my hit scan's the weakest. And obviously this is a pretty hit scan heavy map. But Hanzo also felt good here, which is why I ended up swapping to Hanzo.
I think Hanzo's good. I do think Hanzo's good in this map, yeah. Anything that has like that range and doesn't have to be like utilizing their mobility all the time is going to be good here. Because it's just more of like a tunnel map, right? So... honestly, here, I just don't think there was any reason for you to back off. I know it can feel like unsatisfying, being like, yo, I'm not going to actually kill anybody through this tree, but keep these guys at bay. Keep these guys honest. Hold the angle, right? There's no reason for you to go, like, it's kind of like the opposite of what we saw earlier, where it's like, instead of pushing forward, you're peeling backwards. And the irony of that is that you didn't need to, and you're actually the one that dies to Genji play here. You know, not even your supports. Your supports are actually fine. You're the one that throws your body in the corpse, right? So just hold the angle, right? I think that's the big takeaway for me. I
think after this fight is when I swapped to Hanzo. Right. I think I used my pulse and swap.
Makes sense. Nice. Wouldn't be giving myself away here. Like Weaver at that range, as you were talking about, is like super lethal. So just be careful. So no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I realized that just as I peeked it, I was like, man, I forgot he's just got a buff. His stuff is really tight right now.
So what are your options then? Where do you go instead?
Probably that right side near the tunnel.
Yeah, I agree. You can honestly just use the tunnel itself too. I think that's probably your quickest way to get on top of somebody. I just did a Tracer review a few minutes ago, and we were talking about like finding pathing routes to get closer to enemies, and I think that's something that you could work at.
I think what scares me about that tunnel is there's nothing close at hand health pack wise.
Right.
There's the mini that's over on the right of the tunnel, and then there's the mega way over to the left, and that just makes me nervous if I can't get there.
Right. No, I get that. I guess it's more about like you go for the play. If you can't get it, then really you just have to head this direction. But that's still better than what we did. This is fine.
My mines are piss poor. I've changed my binds to make it a little easier for me, but they're still bad.
That was
I did
fine.
get that one, but
that was fine. Yeah.
I didn't remember hitting it.
I guess here, my main takeaway here is don't recall, right? Blink. Because if you're gonna, like, the last thing you want to do immediately is recall when you have a blink available, because you want to continue to put pressure out. Because, like, look at this guy, he's gonna lamp, and there's your opportunity to maybe potentially finish off this kill, or at least live for longer, if that makes any sense. It's a good mine, but just keep shooting. And then obviously after recall, I think the last thing that you want to do is to use your last blink to push back in, right?
Yeah, I think that's the order. I get confused. I end up recalling first and then blinking instead of exhausting blinks and then recalling to get out.
Exactly. Because at this point in time, you should just die. Right now, you should just die. Like even if you do make the mistake of recalling, then there's nothing wrong with just kind of like chilling. You know what I'm saying? And then pushing back in afterwards. Like you're like, oh crap, I recalled. That's fine. Just shoot. You're not going to get the follow-up off of that pulse bomb. It's too late. You force the resources, you force distraction, you force some cooldowns, whatever. Then just live and shoot the Steva. Yeah,
that kind of brings me to something about
Sure.
Pro League play that I see. I see a lot of Pro League play where they just kind of toss their mines just like the moment they get them. Could be end of the fight, could be beginning of the fight, could be anywhere. What's the reasoning for that? Are they just so confident that they're going to build up another one that fast? Is that what it is?
Well, you get it back really fast. And the other thing with pulses as well is if you've lost a fight, I mean, if it's a guaranteed loss, I think it's a waste. I wouldn't use it. But if there's a chance that you can turn it, or if you're like 5v2, if you hit a pulse bomb it's a 4v2 and you die. Okay. But for next fight, the guy that you killed with pulse bomb might not be back yet. So what it kind of does is it's like, okay, I know we've lost this fight, but if I hit this pulse bomb, it allows my team to walk forward safer because the enemy support that I just stuck is still coming back from spawn. You kind of see what I'm saying? So it's like it helps you to get space in the next fight. Now, sticking a pulse when you've already won the fight, that's just hubris. There's no reason for that, to be honest with you. Outside of just like, you know, I want to go for the flashy play, which to an extent it's kind of like we've all got that dog in us, you know, even pro players, you know. Sure. But yeah, I think it's mostly just, you know, hit the stick as soon as you get it, you'll build it back soon. That's definitely the biggest part. But it's also like, even if the fight is probably lost, if you hit a pulse, that can really screw up the enemy team for setting up for next fight. That would be the main takeaway. And because it's just pulse bomb kill, because it doesn't require a lot of follow up, it can work. Okay. Let's take a look at Hanzo. So I guess main takeaways for Tracer is just understanding like, okay, I don't have recall. I can't be doing plays like these. I do have recall. I can be doing plays like these. And then maybe just a better awareness of like when you can just hold an angle and when you don't need to push forward or fall backward would be the two little details I'd say. Make sense? Not a lot of Tracer gameplay, but you know, enough to, I guess, get a quick idea.
So I think with Hanzo and a lot of my sniper characters, this even goes into support, is I end up playing them like I'm a brawl character and not a sniper character, so I end up way farther forward than what I should be a lot of the time.
Now, why do you think that is?
I really like brawl comps. They're by far my favorite comp. And so like even on characters that aren't brawl characters, I just end up playing them like brawl characters.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean it happens. We'll keep an eye on it. Because I mean, shots are easier to hit when you are closer. It's just like, what's the risk? You know, like the risk to reward ratio is the key thing.
I think I over peaked there a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Swung a little wide.
I think this Ashe, like me and her, just have a.
Well, you need healing here more than before you do anything else. That's the key thing here, because she could just tap you unscoped and you're dead. Ha!
That was, I think, the biggest issue. I think you'll hear my character call out for healing a few different times this match, especially as this round progresses.
Nice shot. Now, this is where, like, my first response is we walk forward here, especially once this Genji's kind of out of commission, right? Is this right here? Okay, good. I was gonna say, like, you need to be setting up like an angle if you can, as fast as you possibly can, even if it's just here, because your sight line's gonna be so much better.
Absolutely.
Okay. I also wouldn't hesitate throwing up my Sonic Arrow here. You could throw it just like right here, help you line up your shots better. If you don't have anything that you need super scouting on, you could just use it to line up your shots better, really. Like, case in point, right? That's fine. And I also think that, like, it's worth repositioning if you get a chance. Not necessarily closer, but like if you can just take a couple shots from here and then disengage this direction. Again, it's just like how much of a better position can you take, even if it's just temporary, right? Because you know you're gonna fall back to this position in a little bit, right? But there's no reason to not just walk forward and take the high ground for a couple of shots and then fall back later.
I'm really bad about giving up high ground really quickly. I get really nervous on high ground and I start missing shots that are easy for like people that are a lot more comfortable in DPS. DPS is a kind of a newer pickup for me. I play more support than anything. I've put in 1,200 hours into this game and I think probably more than 3/4 of it is on support. So DPS is a little bit of a newer pickup for me.
Yeah. Well then start to kind of develop that, you know, bloodlust, I guess, not to be corny about it, but like just practice. Okay, I can take this position. I can't stay here for long. I need to go back. Just, I wouldn't say like be stupid, but learn to practice toying a little bit more with taking some risks, right? As long as they're educated and they're smart risks. Nice shot. Definitely Sonic that. You know, and if you're gonna ego this again, like just Sonic it, right? Or like go in here, grab a health pack, repeat it with Sonic afterwards.
I think I just forget that that health pack exists. It's so random.
Yeah, yeah, but the Sonic especially, that had to happen.
Yeah.
Good Sonic. This is pretty close. And I would wait. I like using Dragon more reactively. I like using Dragon more as they've committed to a push. They want to fight. I throw out my Dragon and I make them split. Because you're not going to get kills with it, usually. Like, let's be honest, it's not exactly the most powerful ultimate in Overwatch 2.
Oh, yeah.
But you could definitely, like, right now, if they were to just, like, kite out this Dragon by backing up, obviously, I don't know why they're BAP windowing here. Like, let's just ignore that.
I think that was why I popped it, was I heard the BAP window, so I just threw it where I thought the BAP window was gonna be. I was a little late on it because I had to get over there, but...
Yeah, and I guess maybe that's my main takeaway, is it is a little bit late. I guess the idea is fine there. And obviously the result's good, but... Okay.
I try to take a little bit, because like you said, it is a battle. They're not great, I mean, it's not a battle, but
Yeah.
I try to use it in ways that are a little bit more unexpected, I guess.
Mm-hmm,
Like, you'll see a really ambitious dragon on attack that just looks really ugly.
Okay.
But, you know, it was just an idea, because I just want to try and get us from somewhere where it's really hard for them to back out of it.
Yeah, makes sense, Okay. I would Sonic here. Just Sonic on the corner. Or there, even. Yeah, that's fine. At this point, I just want to see you use it. Now, you got to be careful here, because you're awfully close. And this is kind of like you were saying, that brawl mindset, you know? So, like, as quickly as you can, create a little bit of distance. This is fine, pushing off of the shatter. Sonic. Yep. That's unfortunate timing.
Too soon.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, big mess. Just get out.
Yeah, there was a big fight in text chat about the bomb.
Oh, yeah.
Them blaming a Reinhardt for it.
I'm actually kind of curious now. Wait. Oh! You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do
See,
it.
they were blaming Reinhardt, but that's honestly,
yeah, that's
in
I
that
don't think
situation,
that's
I
a
would
big deal.
really blame them more so.
I would
because
agree.
Their positioning against that was piss poor.
This is just where I think you just needed to keep kiting, you know? Needed to keep kiting. This is how you get staggered. It's what I call, like, the plat stagger, where it's like, it doesn't happen only in plat, it even happens in Overwatch League, where it's like, people are like, oh, we're down one, let's back up, but they don't back up far enough. And so then, oh, whoa, like, your Ryan's like, what, how? And your Honor's like, what, how? And you're about to die too. Well, it's because you're down a bunch of people. So, of course, they're going to push up really, really far. So then you guys might not even get a good recontest. Okay, you do. Good.
And the worst part is, like, I tell my teams that I coach, like, if you win a fight, get aggressive, you know, push really far in. And I know to expect that, but I still don't back up far enough.
Well, you know, it happens. Thought for sure that shot was going to land. Nice shot. Sonic here. Yeah, see, here's your problem. Here's your problem right here. Your priority here needs to be on not the D.Va, right? The priority needs to be on where's that Genji, where's that Ashe, where's that backline, and deal with them first. It's just an order and operations thing. She's too full of an HP for this to actually matter, even if she is in Blizzard, right? So there's too much attention there. The Sonic is late. You're a little bit far from cover. And then again, your first priority is to go for the dragon instead of actually sonicking and dealing with this threat right here, if that makes sense. It's just about being smart at actually dueling the DPS that you're playing versus and prioritizing them. So far, obviously, we still have like an entire another attack to talk about. I think Sonic more proactively used in these duels. I think managing your cover a little bit better, maybe taking more aggressive angles when the opportunity presents itself. A couple other details, but I think that's for the most part. Any questions so far?
Nothing yet.
Okay, let's keep going here. Obviously, Sonic can be very important in this matchup. ASAP. Use it. But like, look at how many shots you've taken before you Sonicked, right? I just think you're forgetting about it. Like, it's so important, not just for you, but for your team. Nice shot, but that's actually crazy that you still haven't used it yet. I mean, now it doesn't matter, but nice. Nice. Maybe. Oh!
Man.
It's okay. It's okay.
This gets really hairy, and then I think I screw up right here.
Well, you know, it's funny because it's the same thing, right? Like, it's like just how you take the duel, right? It's 77 HP, you're 137 HP. Don't ego this just yet. Just get a little bit of healing first. And again, if you're gonna re-peak this, under what circumstances do you re-peak it, ignoring your health? You have the Sonic again, you know?
Yeah. Well.
You know, you have the Sonic again. I mean, honestly, you could even Storm Arrow this at this range and just like utilize full movement speed, right? And just 80-80 surf, just smash Storm Arrow in her face. But it's HP and Sonic again. I think those are two consistent themes of how you're taking duels. Your aim is fine with a Hanzo, but yeah. Okay, let's see what we Sonic here. So you go into the fight with Sonic, but then as these like duels break out mid-fight, you forget about it. I think that's worth noting. Storm Arrow this if you want. There's the Widow. Nice. Now you're gonna Sonic it. There it is. There we go.
So this is, I think this is where my ambitious Dragon Strike was.
All right.
See, I go really far out of the way for this.
Oh, I see. Well, this is crazy.
Unfortunately, they had dropped already.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like just simply rotating to here and using it like here would have provided basically the same amount of value with a lot less downtime. So I like the idea of like actually setting up your dragon. I just think that the irony is that you spend so much time setting it up blindly, right, without Sonic, that it ends up not actually doing a whole lot. So maybe I wouldn't say scale back the craziness. Just like make sure that doesn't involve so much downtime. Good Sonic. Maybe not perfectly placed, but at least you used it. And there's also really no reason for you to force this duel either. You could wall climb up here and blow this Ramatra up, you know? Send them back, then take the Widow duel. Because the thing is like, look at this Widow. Who does she have to shoot besides you, really? You know what I'm saying? There isn't really anybody else. So why don't you just shoot the Ram? Make that, and what is she gonna do, you know? What is she gonna shoot? You see this? It's terrible, right? So just shoot the Ram, force this guy back, then take the duel. You're giving her something to do, and then again, mid-fight Sonic, right? Immediately, as soon as this sucker comes off cooldown, like this Sonic should already be on this corner right now, like right now. But it's kind of like
I was talking about, like brawl.
Yeah. It's the proximity for sure. But that Ram's a problem. And then obviously he gets Sonic, which doesn't help us a whole lot. I want to see what happens here. Cancels it a little late.
I was really depressed that he didn't.
It's okay, you got the kill though. Sonic, yes. Oh no. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay. Sonic on something. Okay, yeah, just a little bit too far out in the open. I will also say it's kind of a similar situation where you're very tunneled on the Widow here, which is fine. But remember, it's kind of similar to the Ramatra situation where you could just hide from this Widow and deal with the other things first. Case in point, this, right? This is what you guys need to deal with first. I don't want you to focus on shooting one target if that target isn't actually doing anything. Instead, take the time to like actually clear out whether that's the Ram, the Ash, or whatever first, and then go. Now, if they're all fighting, then yeah, prioritize the Widowmaker. You're pretty good at dealing with her. But I guess it's just a sense of priority. It's like a triage, you know. Like you got to prioritize what needs your attention the most. Yeah. Okay. Now, second Sonic. That's the question. What are we going to see? There it is. Second Sonic. Where is it? I mean, even here though, like I know you're up 2, but why fight like this? You know, don't let her clutch this. Don't let her get a trade and maybe recontest. Throw the Sonic here, get the advantage, then ego it. Like every time she walks behind a wall, I'm like, surely you're gonna Sonic, but you don't. Definitely have it to look at too. To look into, excuse me. There's the Sonic.
I don't know why. Yeah.
But you see,
funny sometimes.
yeah, you see it. It's bizarre. I mean, I get it. I probably just would have waited a little bit longer. Again, Sonic. Even here, because like, if you Sonic this here, this tells us whether this Widow is speaking this or the BAP is speaking this, right? It's useful information. Use it. There you go. See? That's it. All right, mid-fight Sonic. Little late, but okay. This is mostly just like, you know, aim at head height and pray.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing, yeah. But then again, as soon as that Sonic comes online, immediately you're either going to throw it here to see if anybody's swinging here, or you're going to throw it here to see if anybody's peeking there. So like right now, as soon as it's used, like literally, see you're still thinking about like hitting the shot on somebody else, but it's not. Like as soon as Sonic is available, use it. Use it. Still winnable, right? I mean, it's crazy how long this cooldown sits. So I'm not gonna like, you know, beat a dead horse here, but every time I see it, I am gonna point it out from now on. You know why it's an issue. You know what you need to be doing differently, but I guess just pointing out like this is what I would do differently. That's just unfortunate. I don't think you got healed. I think you could have maybe played cover a little bit better there at the HP that you were at. Yeah. Oh. There we go. There's the Sonic doing work, I guess. That works.
I don't know why I have a habit of trying to use it like it's a DPS tool.
You know what it is? Here's what it is. I actually was working with a Plat player a couple of weeks ago and I noticed it. What it is everyone, when you're between fights, you're like, all right, I'm going to use my Sonic Arrow, right? So you queue up the Sonic Arrow. The fights start, so you're walking into the fight. And you see two things at the same time. You see a Sonic opportunity, like, you know, here, right? And you see a Widowmaker to shoot. So then you're like, all right, well then what do? Do I cancel the Sonic Arrow and shoot the Widowmaker, or do I just use the Sonic Arrow to shoot at the Widowmaker? That's what ends up happening. So what I would do is I would try to break that habit. This is what I would call the pre-Sonic habit, which is just basically, when I turn this corner, I don't have my Sonic Arrow queued. I see this, I take a shot, right? And then based off of what I see, I decide whether I want to use Sonic or not. You kind of see what I'm saying? So you shoot that shot, then you duck behind cover, and you throw the Sonic Arrow here, and then you re-peek it again. That's kind of what you do. Okay. It's like the break the pre-Sonic habit. Unless you know for certain that you're going to Sonic immediately, then there's no real point doing it. A little close, but as long as you got cover, it might be okay. Sonic. Yeah, there it is. Spooky. Keep your distance. Keep your distance. Lunge. Yeah, yeah. It's just a little bit of hubris, like in terms of like you said it earlier, like your proximity is the big thing, right? Like here, it's okay as as Hanzo to get close sometimes, but you just can't stay here for too long. Right? So you're here, this guy looks at you, you got to get out of dodge. Like you got to lunge back. Like you have to get out. Because even if your supports could heal you, if he hits you that many punches in a row, it's going to be really hard to keep you up. And in fact, actually, Ram being able to do that to Hanzo is part of the reason why, in Owl earlier this season, why not every team was running Hanzo and why some of them were running Sojourn. because with Ramatra ult, with speed boost and Ram, sometimes they could chase down Hanzos, which made their lives miserable. Sometimes we're still running Hanzo, but it's one of the strengths of Ram is being able to do exactly what he did right there.
I despise Sojourn in general right now. I don't even play her.
I don't like Sojourn either.
I think she's a goofy character, and I think Alari is a Sojourn 2.0. I like Alari, but she feels like a Sojourn 2.0.
Okay, Sonic. I mean, you see it, right?
Yeah.
All right. I think crosshair placement was a little low there as well. Okay. Woo. Nice. I like this positioning. This is good. And then again here, just Sonic her, you know? Sonic her so that you can re-peek. Unfortunately, you miss it, but the idea was there. She's dead. Nice.
We end up getting full held right here.
No way.
This close.
Really?
Yeah, pretty much.
Ouch.
I think they swapped to a ball and a Genji, and it just tears apart our whole team.
Good, Sonic. I think your initial positioning is okay as long as you disengage like this. Yeah. So what you do here is this is like high risk, high reward position. So when you take this position, you're doing so knowing that I might only take a couple of shots, but then I have to get out, right? So that's immediately what you do. The problem, though, is that obviously when you get out, you kind of lose track of Genji. And remember, he's used his dash. He's not even full HP here. You should be able to force this duel and win it most of the time. I would immediately Storm Arrow this, like way faster. If he dashes on you, I like popping Storm Arrow immediately. And then basically just fire a one shot and see what happens. Because he's going to have to deflect. But I would rather eat one of my own Storm Arrows than one of my own fully inducted shots.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I could also maintain full like 80-80 strafing. And then here, there's your deflect. Channel up that Storm Arrow and just get ready to dump it into his corpse. You know? Because he has lost this duel. I mean, that was so much sweatier than it needed to be.
Yeah. So, another thing, Genji is my, like, it's something about the way Genji just moves. It makes me incredibly nervous to fight, and I always do bad against it. I used to be that way against Tracer, but now that I've played Tracer some, I kind of understand how she moves a little more.
Sure.
But Genji is a character that I don't play. He's like the only character that I just don't play at all. And I feel like I just don't understand his movement and how he feels and how he looks when he moves. It just throws me off every time.
I think it's about, obviously it's like it's practice like anything else, but I think the big thing is like just understanding his movement arc. So like when he's, you know, deflecting here or whatever, but then like right here he's his most vulnerable. When he's committed that double jump, he's totally locked out for motion, basically. This is when you need to hit him. And this is where Storm Arrow is really useful because you can use Storm Arrow, force that deflect early, and then he's just screwed here. There's the dash. Again, there's the shots. There's the double jump. This is when he's, again, very vulnerable. And coincidentally, on the way down, on his next jump, again, that's where you actually get him. So I think for you, it's mostly about like using Storm to force deflect, get him on his little double jump arcs, and then catching him on that arc because it's a big mistake. What good Genjis will do is they'll like jump, and then sometimes they won't double jump, and then they see you start to shoot, and then they'll double jump, right? But even committing to that puts them in a predictable arc. It's like really high risk. Like a Genji out in the open without walls is generally pretty scared. So I guess for you is it's like obviously a little bit of practice, but just expect that arc, use Storm Arrow to force deflect, and then win the duel afterwards. And then obviously hit your shots. Like that's the scary part. I mean, that's unfortunate. Sonic is fine. Obviously, in hindsight, would have used it on the Ashe up top, but I don't think, at least we were using it. Sonic that Ashe. Because if you Sonic that Ashe, then you could just hard ego her with Storm Arrow, just walk on her. Dragon is fine. Yeah, I think Dragon's okay. Dragon's okay. I mean, obviously, in hindsight, maybe throwing it here, but it's not terrible. Yeah, okay. So, here are my takeaways. Let's, Tracer. Tracer was more about checking team positioning when choosing angle, not forcing aggression when down, Blinks, recall. Not a lot, but just some. But with Hanzo, what did you see with Hanzo? I mean, you talked about like your proximity, holding distance when it makes sense, right? Getting too close. But what else did you see?
Uh, just the radar sonar
Mm-hmm.
sonar
So,
arrow.
using for duels mid-fight. You're forgetting it after the first frequently. Anything else that you saw? That was the main one for sure.
Just accuracy in general. Could use a little bit better accuracy.
Yeah, practice mechanics as always. I would say one other detail as well is just maybe scouting for dragon more, because it felt like at least two of your dragons were like really cool ideas, but you didn't have any information, so they didn't work. Like imagine if that last dragon you had sonicked on main first, then aimed the dragon. You would have probably caught the Batiste with the sonic, and you would have gone now I know where to aim the dragon, right? Instead of blindly going for it. So you have like good ideas, but you don't have good information, I think is the idea. Okay. Any questions?
No, I think that's all. Is that all my time?
Yeah, sadly.